What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video.
Damn. Here we go again.
So I've been gone for like 2 months, 3 months. Because I was busy. I was really busy with school and other work and stuff. But I'm back. And this is my first YouTube video back. So today we are reacting to 7 school lockdown horror stories. We're not gonna do all 7 though, cause I don't got that much energy in me. It's actually nighttime. I don't want to show you, cause that's gonna take too long. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. Let's start.
Back in 2015, I attended high school at an age where I was younger than most students. The reason for this was because I had skipped about 2 grades due to my parents thinking I wasn't being challenged enough. To put it in basic terms, I was a smart kid and had the gift of being intelligent in my studies. Anyway, this happened the week before spring break, and I remember being in my biology class. Our teacher was going over some stuff about the examination of frogs, which sort of entertained us. As we're about halfway through the lecture,
Wait, I gotta play that back. Wait, what?
Our teacher was going over some stuff about the examination of frogs, which sort of entertained us. As we're about halfway through the lecture, our principal, Mr. Hernandez, got on the loudspeaker and told the school we were going on lockdown. All teachers and faculty were required to lock their doors and get their students to the safest place of the room. My teacher had ordered us to move to the back of the class since we didn't have a closet. He locks the door, turns off the
That's a sign, I'm not gonna lie.
lights, and we wait until they all clear. I'd say we sat in total silence for a good few minutes before we hear the sound of the main doors opening from the hall. My thought was that it could have been police, but something told me it was anything but that. Not even a minute later, we begin to hear these deranged screams coming from down the hallway. To be honest, I wasn't sure if it was a man or a woman's voice, but whoever it was sounded like an actual lunatic. The whole class began to look at each other with terror written on their faces. One of the girls' phones in my class had gone off, and that caused everyone to become even more
Hey, y'all dead. Y'all dead.
worried. As the screaming got closer, I came to the realization that it was a man with this extremely deep voice. What he was saying still chills me to the bone. He was going door to door while banging on them, saying what he'll do.
I'm kind of scared now. Hopefully, they don't, like, you know.
How these animations be over exaggerating, bro. Hopefully it's not, like some scary little creature or something,
When he gets in. The stuff he's saying is horrendous to the point where the majority of us are texting our parents and calling 911. He did this to every door until he eventually came to ours, going to town on it very hard. Thankfully, this was one of the few schools that had bulletproof doors, so I knew the chances of him getting in were slim.
Okay.
Even though the doors were stable, he still gave it a good beating. The sounds of those bangs and screams will forever be burned into the back of my head. Suddenly, he straight up punches through the small glass window while trying to reach the lock from the inside. At this point, everyone is terrified to the point where my teacher had to force his arm out of the window. This thankfully seemed to work, as he then continued down the hall with those horrid screams toward the main office. However, he didn't make it far, as police did end up entering the building and restraining him with ease. After about an hour, our principal gave the all clear and had ended school early that day. The school faculty had to personally escort students safely out of the building, as we didn't know who else was around. It wasn't until a week later where I learned a shocking truth as to what led up to this. The story behind why and how we got into the school will forever haunt me. As it turns out, he was being transported to a facility when he managed to rip off the frame that separates him and the driver. He knocked the driver out cold and put the vehicle to a stop right near the school where he got out and entered the building. He was insanely strong and had been off his meds for days. The driver who was transporting him was fortunately okay and was given proper treatment. Thankfully, nobody was hurt when he entered the school.
I might invest in it. I'm scared too. Damn.
After that, many parents were outside picking up their kids in a panic. My parents had gone to the school and picked me up as well, and even pulled me out for a few days. As far as I'm concerned, he was likely taken back to a mental facility and is being held there. For the next few weeks, the school had begun doing lockdown drills as a precaution. Nothing has happened since, but I just hope he's getting the proper help he needs. This story is told in the perspective of a female. This took place in the spring of 2016 in my freshman year of high school when I was around 14 or so. Around this time was the peak of the whole infamous clown sighting epidemic that spread around like wildfire. These events blew up on social media that got
I already know this is gonna be scary. They're gonna put like some type of weird, scary clown on. Ah, man.
the attention of everyone. If you were a teen or in school around that time, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Long story short, it was the next big thing that just never went away. In my mind, I had thought that it wasn't as serious as some people thought, but little did I know, I was beyond wrong. To be exact, this happened on March 25th of 2016, where I was in my last period of the day. If I remember, I was in history class and we had just finished up an assignment on the Titanic and the history of it. At one point, I asked my teacher if I could use the restroom for a minute since I had completed the project early. Being the sweet and charming teacher she was, she said yes and gave.
Alright, so I think we could all tell us about that happening. Color clown, gonna come, and it's gonna enter school, and probably into the bathroom. It's gonna be very, very scary. And the clown's face, because you know how these stories be exaggerating faces. So let's continue on.
The pass. The restroom near my class was being cleaned, so I had to use the one on the other side of the building. As I'm making my way over to the other hallway, I look down the hall and see, out of all things, a person dressed in a clown costume. My initial thought was that it was probably just someone doing a prank because of the trend. I must say, the costume appeared very realistic in detail, even if it was a joke. Needless to say, however, it creeped me the hell out. I give a quick nod to the clown as I enter the girls' restroom, not thinking too much of it. As I'm doing my business, I hear the PA turn on in the hall and inform everyone that we were on lockdown. My heart sank into the pit of my stomach as I heard this, and knew right then that it had to be because of the clown. That being said, I pull up my pants and, as I look up, I see the clown's head peeking in above the stall.
Great heavens!
I let out what was probably the loudest scream I've ever done as I pushed open the door. The person in the clown costume obviously fell to the ground as I ran out of the bathroom. I ran straight to my teacher's room, practically begging for her to unlock the door so I could get in. However, I knew she couldn't, as there was also a chance whoever that was would get in too. She told me from the other side of the door that I had to run and hide somewhere safe. I ended up running out of the hall and ran inside some electrical room that happened to be unlocked. The sound of a machine humming could be heard, so I figured that it would make it seem less likely that I was here. Suddenly, I then hear several sets of footsteps enter the building yelling police. I look through the vent on the door and see about 10 or so officers and a few SWAT guards surrounding the area. I felt safe, but I didn't want to come out with the possibility of startling them. 10 minutes go by, and I see them walk out of the building with 2 clowns in handcuffs, one of them being the one I saw. The other one had this sort of samurai machete thing that was in fact real. Turns out, these 2 clowns actually went to my school, but had gotten suspended for their behavior. They then went on to say that it was just for the trend, and that they didn't intend to actually harm anyone. However, police weren't buying it and arrested them no matter what the intentions were. After that, I eventually came out of the room and walked over to them to explain what had happened. They brought me into the main office, where I was with a faculty member until my parents arrived. As far as I know, those 2 boys were expelled from school and had served months in jail as they were 18. My parents ended up moving me to another school after that, and ever since then, I've always developed a fear of clowns. It took nearly half a year for the whole clown trend to die down. To be honest, I had never really understood the hype around it. Even with that whole situation, I still heard of many reports of people encountering clowns and almost getting hurt. Thankfully, nothing like that has ever happened again.
Thank y'all for watching. I could only cover like 2 today because, you know, my phone ran out of storage like last minute, bro. So yeah, I could only cover 2 stories. But if y'all want a part 2 on this reaction video, I will do it. Just comment down below, you know, like and all that. You know, give the video some attention. I'll do part 2. We're cover 3, 4, and 5, and then probably do part 3, cause you know my storage ain't really storaging right now. So thank y'all for watching.